Hi, and thanks for listening to Gossip with Celebrity, where we talk about celebrity gossip, entertainment news, fashion, and royals. This week, we're talking about Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman, the royals, and Jude Law in a speedo. Instead of doing a user question this week, we're going to cover some of the great feedback we've received. And we end with our weekly feature, the comments of the week. The photos, stories, and memes we talk about here can be found at celebrity.com under the podcast section at the top, and they're also in our show notes. I'm Katie, the founder and editor of Celebrity.com, and I write as Celebrity.
And I'm Chandra, and I write as Kaiser. I'm the head writer for Celebrity.
So I'm doing better. I'm not on any pain meds like I was last week, and I don't know if that's good or bad, because if I sound goofy, then I don't really have an excuse. And did your hair grow out a little bit? Are you used to it now?
Yeah, I'm getting used to it. I still can't pull it all the way back up into a bun or ponytail, so I'm just doing like very low ponytails right now. It's upsetting. I can't wait for it to grow out a little bit longer.
I hate that when I can't put my hair. I mean, it hasn't been like that in years where I can't put it in a ponytail. You do buns though? That's cute.
Yeah, I do buns pretty much around the house, basically. Sometimes outside.
How do you do that? Do you just put it in a ponytail and then wrap it around?
My hair, I can twist it really easily. I don't even know how to explain it. You know, I can just kind of twirl it around and twist it and then just stick it in a bun.
All right, because you have that thick hair. That's why. It's not because I don't know the technique. So the big stories this week, one of them is the Operation Varsity Blues is continuing. And we saw such different behavior from the two main players in that, at least the face of that. And that's Lori Loughlin, I'm saying her name right, and Felicity Huffman. Now, Felicity accepted responsibility. She issued a thoughtful statement saying she felt bad, she was guilty, and she felt ashamed. And she accepted a plea. And a judge is going to give her a sentence that's going to be between like 4 and 10 months or so.
Yeah, basically. I think that because she took a plea so quickly, the fact that she came out and made that statement, I think that's going to work in her favor. And I think the judge will probably give her a sentence on the very low end.
And her crimes were less than Lori Loughlin. And Lori Loughlin's acting like she's the victim, and we should feel sorry for her. So she didn't accept a plea deal with her husband, Massimo Giannulli or whatever. They had more serious crimes, and they rejected a deal that would have them serving like 1.5 to 2 years in federal prison. So now they got more indictments handed down on them, including money laundering. And she wants us to know how she's coping. You know, she's getting through this. She's faith-based, which is not a thing people are. That's the thing that bad birth control education or non-birth control education is faith-based, not people. But she is. And, she's doing fine. People, she's doing your yoga.
Well, to be fair to Miss, Hallmark Channel faith-based person, she very cautiously released that information kind of as she was rejecting the plea offer.
Okay.
That was part of her idea that she was just going to be able to skate through all of this. That, she wasn't going to take it seriously and that she's little Miss Hallmark. No one would send her to jail. So she's just going to remind people that, of course, she's churchy and she does yoga and she's just like you and you couldn't send you to jail. And then, the federal prosecutor was like, here's some more indictments. You could be going to jail for like 10 more years.
Can I read the thing and
go ahead.
Do the music over it? Because I like doing that music. I like to use that music when I can. And this is the perfect quote for that. And these quotes were from an insider in People. While waiting for this to come to some conclusion, she's trying to keep a somewhat regular schedule, going to yoga and Pilates and seeing friends for lunch. She's very faith-based, and she knows her faith will get her through this. She's holding up well, given the circumstances. She has a strong faith that is helping her immensely.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's the victim because we should feel sorry for her for forcing her daughter, who would have been rich regardless, to go to USC on a fake rowing whatever.
Do you remember how, mad people were when the story first started happening that I referred to, Olivia Jade as stupid? She was out partying while her parents were getting multiple indictments. They're facing 12, 20 years in jail, and she's out partying, drinking with her boyfriend, living in Malibu.
More than that, she hasn't parlayed this into more opportunities for herself. She should be capitalizing on this now.
I know.
Have done an interview. She should have come out and been like, I'm sorry, my parents. I guess, lawyers are probably telling her not to say stuff, but she could totally work this in her favor.
There really is the possibility that she could end up indicted for something too. I bet that is why she isn't saying anything.
Yeah.
We've just been primed so well by the Kardashians at this point that if anyone has a scandal, they're like, oh, yeah, well, they're probably going to get a reality show. Wait for them to come out with a lipstick line or something like that.
Look at what that Jordan, what's her last name?
Jordan Woods.
Look at what Jordan did.
Yeah.
She called up her famous friends and she got on Jada Pinkett Smith's show. She knew how to work it. That's what you have to do when a big scandal hits. You got to talk to somebody. You got to put your face out there.
And not only that, Jordan got herself some more sponsorships, and she went out and did some pap strolling too. She went out and made sure that she was photographed. I was expecting that from Olivia Jade, that she would post some photos on Instagram, that she would get photographed by paparazzi.
Just go to, the Ivy or something, or wherever these people go now. It's probably 10 years ago. Just go somewhere that, I don't know, it's just I'm so dated. Just go wherever people go now to get photographed. Just get out there.
Yeah.
That's a good point, too, that she hasn't been photographed, and she easily could be. So Lori's probably going to go to prison, I should say prison, because it's federal prison.
Yeah, and her father, Massimo Giannulli. Both parents are going to end up going to jail because neither one of the girls are underage. So it's not like the federal prosecutors have to worry about like the Guadici, situation where they want one parent to be there to take care of the kids. Both the girls are over the age of 18. They can send both parents to jail, and then the girls are just going to have to fend for themselves.
I mean, they're old enough, too. They're adults now.
They're just idiots.
I don't care about that family or those people. And somebody commented, though, and this would be good if we would see more of the coaches and the other people who aren't famous being shamed in the media as well.
Yeah, and we don't have as many photos of them, if any. And a lot of the people who weren't already celebrities, they're not coming out and talking. They're not going to People magazine to talk about how they're faith-based.
No, they're not, because, that would be stupid. And it's stupid of Lori Loughlin. They're making some bad moves,
Yep.
We had a lot of royal stories this week, and it's never ending. Last week we were talking about the huge maybe cheating scandal, which nobody would have known about if sources close to Prince William hadn't come out and said that it was an attack on his family, pretty much.
Like, initially when the story was just Rose and Kate aren't getting along that well, William ran to Richard Kay at the Daily Mail and said, basically just threatened to sue everybody if they really reported on it. And so that was fishy. And of course, other people were interested in it. And then this week we heard that William he's had lawyers threaten a lot of British journalists. Basically, that's why the story has gone completely dead in the British press. William has flexed his power, and he can do that. I mean, that's what the royals do at this point.
Daily Beast reported on that. So in this week, the two couples, the Cambridges and the Sussexes, are covering People magazine, and they're saying that the real feud is between Harry and William. But if you read the article, they try to make it sound like it's not that bad. And, they tried to work together on projects, but they really couldn't gel.
Yeah, and then People released another part of their cover story saying that the whole thing is rooted in the fact that William wasn't like 100% supportive of Meghan when Harry first started dating her. William told Harry to slow it down. And
I mean, they got engaged. They wanted to get engaged like a year after they met. And so William, he made Kate wait for like 10 years,
Yeah,
so that's antithetical to him. That's not how he operates.
I think that's true. And we've heard it before. It's just interesting that People magazine is reporting it now. They're solidifying this version of the story. But the British press has said variations on this before, that William and Harry are the ones with the beef, not Meghan and Kate, and that it was all about William telling Harry to slow down with Meghan. I kind of think that William and Harry were able to kind of bury that particular hatchet and sort of get along around the wedding. and they were fine. And then everything really changed last fall. So I'd be curious to know what changed, around October, November, because I feel like it was Meghan's pregnancy and the very, very, very successful tour.
Oh, the tour in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a great job and they got so much press.
Yeah, and I think it was just so much good press, and that's when everything started changing. So I believe that Harry and William were already having issues, but they were generally okay, and then everything changed between them last fall.
And they really overshadowed the Sussexes, Harry and Meghan, really overshadowed the Cambridges. And
Yep.
in the hierarchy, they're below them, so that maybe they should know their place, that sort of thing. But also, William really hasn't stepped up. His wife hasn't either, but I think he's set it up so that she can't, and that he's not letting her. I believe he's probably pretty controlling. And
you've always said that, and I've really thought about that, because I very easily fall into this trap of saying, oh, Jesus Christ, Kate really needs to work a lot. But you're right. It's always been the dynamic where William is he's pushing her down.
Remember when she didn't do the St. Patrick's Day appearance? I think he also tries to deliberately sabotage things. He brings her down to his level. Like, he wants to set expectations low for her. And I've seen that in a lot of people's relationships where their partner
sabotages them,
is controlling of them and sabotages them and tries to tell them what to do. And that's the impression that I get of William.
Yeah, I think that could be very true. I also think it's true that Kate has seen firsthand that he will throw anybody under the bus to make himself look better. She's gotten thrown under the bus to make William look better, and she's watched him throw Harry and Meghan under the bus now, too.
And Harry married a wonderful woman who is very much her own person, and he lets her be that. And that's got to be threatening to William.
I do think that as well.
Especially when he sees how beloved she is and that she's her own person. She can do her own thing. And they're doing all these great initiatives, too, and that's got to be threatening to him.
And that Harry is changing to make himself better for Meghan. And that is antithetical to what William stands for as well.
Yeah. Harry wants to make Meghan happy, but it's mutual. It's not a control thing. I'm sure it's his own decision. So that's interesting. And now Oprah and Prince Harry got this special mental health series on Apple TV, and Apple TV is poised to be the next big thing.
Yeah, the next Hulu, the next Netflix, something like that.
And that is interesting because Prince William and Prince Kate's thing was this Heads Together, which is also for mental health. It's with a focus on children. And I remember when Harry was doing stuff with Heads Together before Meghan came on the scene. So now Harry's taken their cause and run with it. And he's got Oprah.
Well, Heads Together was always for Harry, William, and Kate. The three of them started it together.
Okay.
But they all brought different things into it, and they were all supposed to work on different facets of mental health. Like Harry was bringing in veterans issues and veterans mental health. Kate was supposed to be touchy-feely children, blah, blah, blah. And then William was supposed to just, I don't know.
Oh, no, they had the internet stuff. They had some big internet
bullying.
Yes.
Yeah. And so the whole idea of that was it was just going to be the trifecta. And then Meghan came around, and all of a sudden Harry isn't as interested in Heads Together. And I kind of think Heads Together will eventually fold, not this year, maybe next. But it's funny because Harry is putting in the work once again, and he's not trying to do it just for the hype. He went and worked on this TV show with Oprah, and there was not a whisper about it. And then he got to announce it, and it looks like this huge, big project that he's been involved with for months, and we've never heard about it before. Meanwhile, Kate, or her people were running to the press to talk about how keen she is to launch this initiative that no one even knows what it is anymore. And William was complained about how not one celebrity would help him talk about mental health.
He had Lady Gaga. He did have Lady Gaga.
But he forgot to mention her.
A lot of what happens with these big organizations, and they were working with existing organizations, is it happens at a snail's pace, and you have to do it on their terms. And I think a lot of what we see from Kate, to be fair, is just her going with what's already established and what the flow is. I've tried to do volunteer work. You've tried to do volunteer work. These people, I mean, their heart's in the right place, but they don't get shit done. And I imagine that's doubly worse in England and in the royal circles. You know, this initiative or whatever, it's not getting done. It's not surprising. It doesn't mean they don't want to.
What bothered me about Heads Together was that it wasn't set up as a standalone foundation that was going to do its own thing. It was always an umbrella organization.
That's what I meant. Yes, exactly.
So basically, all William, Harry, and Kate did was add another level of bureaucracy. That's all they did.
And you can't do something within a single one. How are you going to get multiple ones to work together? You aren't.
Exactly.
And that's probably what happened to that initiative. And that's why they keep talking about it and not doing anything, because I bet, you know, you can't get anything done in those organizations. So Oprah came out and defended Duchess Meghan, similar to the way that George Clooney defended her, and said that, you know, she's being portrayed unfairly. So here's a clip of Oprah saying that on CBS this morning.
And as someone who knows Meghan Markle, how do you think she is being portrayed?
I think she's being portrayed unfairly. Mm-hmm. And I feel that if people really knew her, they would know that she is not only everything that we perceive of her as being graceful and dynamic and holding that position, but she just has a wonderful, warm, giving, loving heart. Yeah. So, I mean, I see all the crazy press around her, and I think it's really unfair.
Yeah, she's very kind. Mm-hmm. She doesn't seem to buy into it, though, which I think is...
She really actually does not read anything, which I find, you know, I think that's remarkable that in spite of all that's going on, she does not read anything.
Yeah. So Oprah obviously knows Harry because she's working with Harry, and she's worked with Meghan too. I'm sure Meghan will make appearances on this new series.
I hope so. Yeah, I think it's just another reminder that there are celebrities in America who have been paying attention, like George Clooney, like Serena Williams, like Beyonce. There are people who are paying attention to the way the first Black Duchess is being treated. We see that this shit is racist.
And we have clout, too. We have big outlets, too. And I believe that they're using People magazine that way.
Yeah. So
what else came out is that Meghan was criticized for having a birth plan, which was outrageous. She has her own team of doctors. I mean, I did that. I fired my doctors the week I was due. I didn't like them. I did. I was like, no, I'm not going to deliver with you. I didn't want to deliver in a specific hospital, and I switched to a birth center the week I was due. I was 2 weeks late, but that's your prerogative. Is when you're pregnant and you're as a woman, it's your prerogative anytime, as anybody's prerogative to choose their own doctors, especially at that vulnerable moment.
Exactly. And it's like woman chooses own doctors, and that's the headline. There were people really upset about it, though. I was shocked that people were that upset that Meghan doesn't want the Queen's old man doctors to like look up, you know, her vajayjay.
Older doctors have older practices, and there are more negative outcomes associated with that. And there's more negative outcomes associated with having a baby in the hospital than there is at home, depending on your age. The ideal situation is somewhere that's not a hospital, but that has access to a hospital if you need it. That's been shown with outcomes for pregnant women. So,
well, I just feel like every woman should do what's right for her. You know, I don't.
Oh, of course. I'm not saying that's what everybody should do. I'm just saying, you know, I see why she wouldn't want a hospital birth.
If I had a baby, I would be checking into the hospital like a month early and asking for drugs, you know, but that's me. That would be my choice. Like, everyone's different. Some women will feel, you know, 100% more confident and comfortable in a hospital, and some women won't. Do what you have to do what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So they also made the announcement they want to keep the birth private. They just issued a very brief little statement.
I just saw on Vanity Fair, a source says that they'll probably release a photo on Instagram very quickly, and then they'll do a photo call maybe a few days after the baby is born.
Do you think they're just going to do a hand and foot photo on Instagram?
Ooh, I hope not.
That would be weird.
I think
I hate those.
I think those are so cheeseball.
They are.
If you're going to post the first photo of your baby, just do a very simple, here's a mother holding a baby photo. That's it. That's all you have to do.
Or you can just show the baby, but show the baby's face. Come on.
Oh, I don't even care about that. Because all newborn babies kind of look alike.
They do look different, but they look different than they're going to look later,
Yeah.
too. Like, you can't tell how they're going to look, but I still like to see the baby's face.
Yeah. I don't really care. I mean, I don't really care enough to see a newborn's face. Show me the baby when it's a month old. I'm all there. Then you can see more of their features, and they're not little red-faced, angry little old men babies.
Their faces get really smushed too when they're first born. They're like long.
Yeah.
Some of them. And some have like crazy amounts of hair. They do look different. I think they look different.
Yeah. The hair is always different. Like, I love it when a newborn baby has tons of hair. I think that's so cute.
Yeah, that is cute. That is really cute. And some babies are bald forever.
My mom always said that I was born with a full head of hair and it always stood straight on end for like 2 months.
Which I think I saw some baby like that. It was like somebody's famous baby. Oh, it was the guy who runs Bravo. What's his name?
Andy Cohen?
His baby had Andy Cohen. His baby had a ton of hair.
Yeah, that baby did have a ton of hair.
So speaking of features, this week you covered Jude Law on the set of The New Pope. He was in tiny little, it looked like underwear, but I guess they were white Speedos.
White.
And he was looking...
Papal Speedos.
Yeah. Papal.
He looked good.
He does. He's my age. He's 46. He looks great.
I have like very specific thoughts on like what kind of men's bodies I really like. Okay, I like really tall, lanky men. I love lanky men.
Okay.
Oh. I love guys with really great proportions. And Jude Law has like amazing proportions. He really does.
He looks good. He doesn't look too thin. He doesn't look too jacked up.
Well, he's got a little bit thick, which I like too. I like the butt photo a lot.
He's not like fat, but he's not skinny either. Like I guess that's what thick is. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, thick is like how he looked from behind. That's a little bit thick.
Okay. He looks great. He does look really good.
He has great legs.
I mean,
great legs.
He's not working with a lot though.
That's mean. Oh.
It's true. I saw a picture of him a few years ago, and you can see in that bathing suit. It's not mean, it's just true.
Well, I mean, he was in the water. I mean, maybe, he's a grower. I have no idea. But, I mean, come on. Jude Law is a beautiful man.
He is a beautiful man. He's not working with a lot. He's not.
Katie is all of a sudden a size queen. All right, fine. Oh, one of the interesting little parts I learned when I was researching that post, and I actually did research. I didn't just drool over the photos.
You're researching.
I did very intensive research on it.
Okay.
Was that in the new series?
You didn't zoom in that much, I don't think. Sorry.
All right. So the first series was called The Young Pope, and then this new series is called New Pope, which is idiotic, actually. But in the New Pope, John Malkovich has joined the cast. When I read that, I was like, oh, now I get it. Because John Malkovich was written out of Billions so suddenly last week.
Oh.
So John Malkovich went from Billions to the New Pope.
He has to do a lot of work. He's been in a lot of movies and stuff because he got fleeced by, who's that Ponzi scheme guy?
Oh, yeah, he did. He did get fleeced by that guy. What is his name?
Bernie Madoff.
Yeah,
Bernie Madoff. He got fleeced by Bernie Madoff. So that's why he's in a lot of things. Like
he's like Nick Cage.
I love that stupid. Yes, but it's not his fault.
Yeah.
I love that stupid movie Warm Bodies. It's like this zombie love story. It's actually pretty cute. And he was in that. He's been in a lot of other movies.
Well, I mean, the great thing about it not that there's a great thing about losing all your money, but the great thing is that we get to see more John Malkovich, who I love. And he was amazing on Billions. He did this absolutely absurd Russian accent, and his character was absolutely deranged. I loved him.
I liked him even on Bird Box. He was good. He's a great actor.
He really is.
He really brings it.
He's never won an Oscar. He's one of those guys that, has turned in amazing work for years and never won an Oscar.
I did not know that. I didn't even think of it. Maybe he'll get a chance if he makes more prestige films instead of these crap. Well, they're not crap.
Yeah.
He's in decent films.
Decent TV shows, too.
Yeah. Okay, so this week, instead of doing a user question, because we're not getting as many user questions and we've answered a lot, I wanted to talk about some of the feedback that we've gotten. Our number is 434-218-3219, and you can email us at info@celebritchy.com or contact us at Twitter or Instagram. I deleted the Twitter app from my phone, so I'm trying not to be on Twitter as much, and it's both good and bad because I feel like I'm missing some things, but I'm not like scrolling Twitter every night and falling asleep with my phone in my hand like I was doing for months. So that's good. I can get on it on Chrome on my phone, but I don't have the app anymore. I got a nice tweet from Shannon, and I wanted to mention it. Someone follows me, I will look to see what they tweet. And if they're really liberal and they seem cool, I'll follow them back. So I followed her, and she said that she geeked out at being followed by Celebrity because she's been reading us for 10 years, and it's her morning ritual, and that we're awesome. And a lot of people like that, and that was really touching to me, and I wanted to thank her for that.
That is really nice.
We have so many nice people that we talk to on Twitter, and there's like a core group of people who like our posts.
Yeah, there are. I don't follow many of them, though, and I'm sorry. To those of you who tweet at me all the time, and I actually, tweet back, I'm sorry I don't follow you. It's just that I use Twitter for leads a lot of time, and I don't like a lot of stuff cluttering up my Twitter timeline.
I like to look at people's pictures.
It's nothing personal. I just like to look at news. I like to see the up-to-date gossip.
I like to look at people's Twitter because they like a lot of the viral posts, and sometimes they'll post, there's not as many pictures on Twitter, obviously, as there are on Instagram, but they'll post pictures of their dogs and cats, or, they'll just
enjoy that too.
Say that they saw a movie or something. So I want to thank Shannon, and Francesca is someone we tweet with a lot. La Unica Angelica is wonderful. We tweet with her, and she's always commenting on the site. Owen Low Mom, Melly, Kathy Benjamin. Those are just a few people. I know there's more, and other people who we've mentioned in past podcasts. We got some nice emails from Dog Obsessed Girl and Jennifer. If we forgot you, we're really sorry, and it means a lot to receive email, and it really helps keep us going because sometimes we get kind of down about it.
Yeah. And the tweets are really nice too. I personally love talking to people on Twitter, and I love it when you guys engage me, but in a healthy way. Engage me in a healthy way. Don't say, "Oh my God, you're wrong." I hate that.
I've had a couple of those. I just, that happened a lot with the crazy Johnny Depp stands. A lot of them are paid.
Yeah. I muted the fuck out of those people.
Muted those people. I muted those people. And there's some fandoms that are kind of crazy that I mute, but that's easy enough to do. And usually overall, Twitter is really wonderful. I've been getting a lot more followers on Instagram over that big cheating scandal between William and Rose Hanbury or whatever. And then people are arguing on Instagram. Instagram used to be a lot nicer place for me. I just stopped paying attention as much.
Never gotten into Instagram the way I love Twitter. I do love Twitter.
Twitter is easier to talk to people. Instagram is more one-sided. Yeah. There's a couple of people who I know from both Instagram and Twitter, and I'll like their Instagram posts. It doesn't have this same kind of community. At least for me, probably because I'm not involved as much in Instagram.
Yeah. I couldn't care less about Instagram, honestly. I really couldn't. I only checked for tennis photos, really.
Yeah, it's harder, and it takes longer to build a community on Instagram. I mean, maybe that's just because I've been on Twitter for years, and we have a lot more people we're talking to on Twitter. Instagram just feels like it goes at a snail's pace for finding followers and, engaging with people and stuff, although it's happening more now and I don't like it. So I'm I don't want you people leaving these huge long comments and stuff. All right, right, so let's move on to the comments of the week. So there were some really funny comments in that post about Lori Loughlin saying that she's faith-based.
Yeah, the comments,
religious education.
the comments were lit in that section, in that post.
That was so funny. And it's hard to pick the best ones. I'm going to pick Blue Sky because last week she left us a really nice voicemail. And she said, a spokesman for God said, we would like to be removed from this conversation and keep his name out of your mouth. And then my comment of the week is from Wow. And her comment is, when she asked, what would Jesus do? Apparently the answer was spend $500,000 cheating your children into university.
And I wanted to highlight the comments on the you win or you die predictions for the final season of Game of Thrones. I just kind of farted that post out because I was like,
no, it seemed legit to me. You had watched a ton of Game of Thrones to lead up to that post too. You had reviewed Game of Thrones. That was serious.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched every episode, and I have very strong feelings. But I also just kind of farted it out because I was like, here's who I think will die and who will survive. And I didn't really back up my theories that much. I was just like, this is kind of what I think.
I don't know. I read informed to me.
But everyone had very strong feelings, and no one was really yelling at each other or yelling at me, which I always love.
Yeah, those posts are great.
Yeah, they had very strong feelings, and they were trading theories, and so that whole thread was just excellent. I loved all of the comments there. It was all very nerdy and Game of Thronesy, and it was awesome. And my comment of the week is actually from one of the Lori Loughlin is an idiot stories. And it's the same day that Julian Assange was arrested in the Ecuadorian embassy. Coco wrote, if she can get herself to London, I hear there's an open spot in the Ecuadorian embassy for her.
She can clean up after her cat, the more the better. All right. Thanks for listening, bitches.
Thanks, bitches.
Thank you for listening to the Celebrity Podcast. If you could please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or your platform of choice, it will really help us, and we appreciate it a lot. You can call us and leave a voicemail at 434-218-3219. Our website is celebrity.com, and we're also on Twitter under that handle and on Instagram as Celebrity Official. Thanks again.